Right. Second conference, detachment and attachment. So we'll start off with detachment. Detachment I defined as separating ourselves from not being possessed by whatever that might be, someone or something or some situation. And here's a definition that I got out of the Catholic Encyclopedia. It's kind of, you'll hear it, but we'll see if we can get through this definition here. Detachment is defined as a balance and proportion of attitude in actual possession of and desire for the natural goods of the world, including honor, fame, wealth, health, and degrees of success, unquote. What all that means is having a proportional attitude towards someone in relationship, having a proportional attitude towards someone or something. It's like, for instance, somebody doesn't really know how to go through conflict resolution. And so you make a mistake and say something wrong, and that person will go right off the Richter scale. And somebody might say, that's improportionate to what was done. That's what we mean here when we're defining detachment. It's a proportional attitude, okay? Thank you, I know you all understand that. Okay, this definition speaks of having the right, here we can remember it this way. This definition speaks of having the right order of things, the right measure of things, which is how we describe and how we define justice. That's the right order of things. But it is also, this might be enlightening, but it is also how we describe or how we interpret modesty. Okay. We love God sincerely only when our love for God is a priority of our lives. Thus, any and all kinds of our outer loves will have their proper place if God is our priority of love. All our other loves will have its proper place, and we'll be able to love fully because of that. And we will be able to love fully and completely because the origin of the love we have is love itself. And because the love we have is centered on, focused on, or centered in and focused on love itself. We do not know and we cannot do love if it is not Jesus oriented. For Jesus is love personified. So if you take Jesus out of whatever love we may have, it's not love at all. I am the truth, the way, and the life. John's gospel says it all. Jesus is love. God is love. And what that entails and what that implies. There you go. Loving God truly and loving God firstly is proven to be real in our lives by keeping the commands of Jesus. But because our nature has been afflicted by and infected with sin, we are more inclined, if not outright determined, to have our own way in all things. To have our selfish self become the obstacle that keeps our love of God from fully developing and our love for our neighbor and for others from becoming a true reality in our lives. We cease to grow in the life and love that Jesus offers us because of our selfishness here. Therefore, one of the commands of Jesus for us is to deny ourselves. That is, to deny our selfish, self-centered self. And it's interesting to note, it's Luke that says, deny yourself daily. The other two don't in the synoptics. To deny oneself, what does that mean? We have to have the right understanding of that. It's that selfish self. Because Jesus came in the incarnation, which is Teresa of Jesus' spirituality. That's our spirituality, incarnational spirituality. Jesus came to save us, the me that is me, the true me. So be careful when you say you've got to deny yourself. What does that mean? Get rid of the me that is truly me? No, it's get rid of the false me, so that true me can be redeemed by Jesus' presence in the world. Detachment for us as disciples is an interior disposition, a spiritual attitude. It consists in removing, separating life from, or separating ourselves from that selfish, self-centered love. Removing ourselves, separating our life from the life of our selfish, self-centered love, which motivates and manipulates us to seek our own pleasure and satisfaction. But we must be conscious of the fact that detachment is only a means to an end by which we can establish the priority of God's love in our hearts and in our minds. Detachment is not a negative endeavor, but a positive process. It is a deliverance of one's true self from the bondage to one's selfish, self-seeking pursuits of false self. It unfastens us from all that obstructs and prevents our increase of love. Okay? But it also can be a detachment from a particular emotion, like we said initially. It might, or it might be a moment that we've saved and cherished that we can't break away from. You know, it could be something that simple. You know, as well as the profound detachment we're talking about, but whether it's a little string that holds you or a chain that holds you, it's still being held. So therefore, all detachment, we're talking about detaching ourselves from that which is selfish or harmful or manipulative to my well-being. That's what we're talking about. So it can be something grand or something very insignificant, but both weigh the same. Why? Because they both keep us from progressing in our love for gracious God. Detachment is the spiritual pruning of all that would harm or hamper us as we try to progress in our love of God. With such barriers removed, we are more able to have God freely work in us. Okay? Nature and spirit abhor a vacuum. So let us allow God's grace, life and love, to fill us according to the measure in which we detach ourselves from our selfishness. Let us separate ourselves from inordinate actions, from inappropriate actions, and join ourselves to the love of God, which calls us to fulfillment. For it is only in that which tends toward our salvation that we are capable of fulfilling our heart's desires. Now, a little aside here, there's other words, there's other terms for salvation. Peace, fulfillment, becoming a real human being, that all falls in to salvation. Because we are disciples of Jesus and specifically secular Carmelite members, we may find that our life at times seems to be burdensome due to the demands of obedience, fidelity, and love. And it would not be too difficult for us to retreat into our own safe, secure, isolated, and insulated world where we would be not only in control, but self-contained, self-protected, and self-serving. Yet in doing this, we make a most serious rupture in our life as a believer. We would be refusing or rejecting our divine call for human wholeness. Salvation, that's another word for salvation, wholeness. This mentality, so destructive, deceives us into thinking that we have comfort and consolation from the cold and harsh winds of life's relations, situations, and circumstances. The reality of the matter is that somehow we have fallen out of being present to God, and we have not responded positively to the graces given us when we were in need. Salvation is wrought through relationships, and our baptism confirms this. In John's Gospel, chapter 20, after Thomas had examined Jesus' hands and side, Jesus said, "You have come to believe because you have seen me. Blessed are those who have not seen and have believed." And I love saying that because we're blessed. How about that?